Alright, so this is our 2015 Tacoma. We've had mice getting into the air conditioning air box. Nasty little creatures. So, to get this out, there's one little screw thing. I'll show you on the opposite side because I already took this piece out. I probably should have covered that before I even took off. But there's supposed to be a screw, a little plastic screw in this side. There was on the other side. So in there is a little plastic rivet thing. Let me grab that out of my pocket. There we go. So it's one of these little fellas. You just back it back out a little bit with your fingers, and it's basically just a screw rivet. But like I said, this side doesn't even have one on it. So I don't know what that says about this, but I took the one out of here. And I lifted this up. I propped the hood up a little bit farther than it would normally go because the hood prop doesn't put it up high enough. Lifted this up. There's a couple of pop clips underneath here that hold that into these tracks here. And right there, that is the filter that you change when you're going into your glove compartment. That's your cabin air filter right there. So the only thing keeping the mice out from there is just this little lame plastic covering, which, as you can see, the size of the holes here, that's pretty big. As far as a mouse goes, a mouse can get in those like nothing. And there's probably other spots that they can get in around that. But yeah. So what I did, I made a template to get it a little closer so I can get this thing, whoops, I can get this thing to cover the hole and push right up against the back side of that. So that'll cover this hole completely. I'm going to take and I'm going to mimic this in some mesh, and we'll see how that works. Interesting thing to note is that there are actually two holes there for bolts already, so it almost looks like they were planning on doing something, and then the engineers at Toyota said, nah, maybe later. So I've got some of this expanded metal that came off from the back of my RTV. I couldn't use this stuff because on the RTV, when it was back there, if you tried to go in reverse at night between the glare of the glass and this, you couldn't see anything. So this has been completely useless except for a couple of things. I cut chunks out of this already, and they ended up using them on my mini truck because the mini truck used to have reflectors up front in the bumper, and I used some of that so that I got some airflow instead, because I needed airflow because the radiator's right up front here. And when I put the winch bumper on, I thought that was impeding a little bit more than I need to, so I have two vents right there. So now I'm just going to use some more of this. This is mostly in an effort to let my wife know that, yes, I do keep junky metal around like this for a reason. In this case, the reason is her truck. So I'm just going to lay this down, and using my white grease paint pencil, I'm going to mark this out. It actually worked. It actually worked better than I thought it was going to. Excellent. When I first bought this thing, I kind of wasn't thrilled with it because I was thinking, oh boy, this is going to be something, because I'll never be able to find any of these stupid X-lock things. They lock on really nice, and they come off really easy. And Tractor Supply sells all that stuff now. So now I'm a little less afraid of it. Because, yeah, I thought I was going to be saddled with a tool that had proprietary pieces to it that you'll never be able to get again. But as it is, Bosch started selling these now, and they started doing a couple of non-branded ones. I don't know if I have any of the non-branded ones. Pretty sure I had some of them. Yeah, I got the Makita one. Yeah, these are the Bosch ones. So, yeah, I'm kind of happy with that now. All right, I made myself a janky little metal bender here, because my wife's too cheap to allow me to get a real metal bender. Jeez. All right. That actually works surprisingly well. Okay, so that's going to go all the way around, and I should be able to get a bolt, oops, wherever the hole is there, Yeah, now you can see it. Let's see where the other hole is. I don't know where the other hole is, but I should be able to find it. I think I'm going to trim this off a little bit more to beautify that section. And I'll probably round this side off a little bit too. Just for giggles. Everybody always asks me, why do you have a teeny tiny anvil? There you go. Now I got the weight, and I can use my cutter and chop that corner off. That's why. All right, so now to get past this weird body seam thing that sticks out, I cut a little bit of a notch out, because otherwise, if I had this up against here, you could get a finger behind that, and a finger behind that is a mouse behind that. So got that right up against there, and now that's up flush all the way. And my holes still line up. So it's looking better. I'm digging it. I still want to round this edge off down here a little bit though. All right, did a test fit with one screw. This is just a standard rack screw. And that fit in there pretty good. So I'm gonna check fit with the second hole. And then all I gotta do is paint that thing up, because I don't want it rusting. Well, I don't mind it rusting a little, but I don't want it rusting a lot. All right, so the 2 bolt points look good. I mean, I could trim a little bit more off the edge of this, but I don't really care because this is gonna be hidden and underneath. So I'm just gonna paint this, probably with truck bed lining coating, both sides, and I'll slap that puppy in, and we are done. All right, that's coat number 1 of the bed liner coating. And once that's dried thoroughly, I'll flip it over and paint the other side. Like I said, as these are rack screws, I'm gonna take the rack mounting off the nut and then just put the nut underneath there, because that's all I need. I don't need this outer piece. This is designed to clip into racks. You like squeeze these down, and then they sit in the back part, and then your rack bolt goes through it, into it. And obviously I don't need that part. There we go, all set. It's also one more use for a tiny anvil. An interesting side note, when I was actually looking online to see where this intake was, there was another guy who was doing a similar procedure, and he ended up using a rubber mallet to hold this side up, because he said, yeah, you don't need to take the whole thing out, just prop it up. And yeah, the rubber mallet's actually the best tool you could probably found for that. Kudos, thanks, dude. Tacked up enough, so I flip this over, put it back up on my jacks, and I'm gonna paint this side. I kind of dig this stuff because it has a crackle finish to it, and that ends up making it look like it's almost a real factory part, despite the super sharp edge that I left there. I was gonna round that corner off, and then I was just like, nah, I'm too lazy. Mainly I want to make sure the edges are good, because those are the parts that are going to really be a problem. There we go. I'll let that dry. I'll flip it over, paint the other side one more time, then I'm done. All right. That's all coated all around. I do like the crackle finish. Too bad nobody will ever see it. Alrighty. It's all sealed in. That is not going anywhere. And if I need to, I can get it cleaned out. And anything else that's on top of it can just blow right off. And that will be it for that installation. Just gotta get my hammer back out of there, close this back up. A little round thing here. That goes in that hole. Okay. Got that nice and flat. And then the insert piece goes inside of it. And that is all she wrote. Now, it's officially done. Once I get my square tubing out of it. And that's it. It is officially done. That job took me about 35 minutes because I stopped to take that guy for a walk, and yeah, that cut into the time. But other than that, it was probably 15 minutes to do the actual job if you don't have a dog involved.